A better Nigeria, is it a myth or do we keep hoping?
Nigeria is a highly religious country. How come corruption thrives?
Why is adoption not encouraged in Nigeria? Is there a future for the Nigerian youth?
Being rich and famous, is that the only reason for being an artist?
What makes a great nation? Is it the leaders? What about the people?
This is Answers with Dr.Reju.
Thinking of where to go to?
Come on now.
Be on board with Dr.Reju.
Hey.
Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to Answers with Dr.Reju, where critical life issues are clarified. My name is Dr. Joan, and I have with me my co-anchor, Lois. Welcome to the studio, Lois.
Thank you.
And of course, Dr. Reju, the Chief Resource Person of the Center for Transformational Leadership, CTL JOS. It's good to have you in the studio, sir.
Thank you, John. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so I hope and I do believe that if you're listening to this program, you've been listening to us for a couple of weeks now, and we've been doing is it a series? We've been following up on the NSAS protest and all that, and so we've been able to carefully analyze the situation surrounding the NSAS protest and its aftermath. And as I clearly remember last week, we ended, hoping that this is not the end for the change that Nigerians are hoping to see, hoping that the youth would actually do so much more than what they have done, because Nigeria needs this change. And there's also a need for us to return to the drawing board as youths to, re-strategize and to achieve something better. And I guess what we'll be looking at today will be, we'll be looking at something or ways that some youth might feel is a step towards that change that they're trying to build. So today is like a continuation from last week. It started as a question last week, but we want to make it a topic because people have said so much about it, and we felt we need to clarify this on the show. So you're welcome to Answers with Dr. Reju, like I said, and if you have a question, if you have a comment or anything you want to say, we already have a post about our topic today, so you can head on to our Facebook page on Answers with Dr. Reju to ask a question or leave a comment. Okay, so before we look at our topic for today, let's look at our trending now topic. Okay, so I think today is 9 months since the Academic Staff Union of Universities, that's ASU, went on strike. Yeah, it's been that long. And I remember we discussed the ASU strike one time on the show, and it's sad that we're still having to talk about this, because honestly I had hoped that by now I'd have been back in school. And after a series of meetings, the ASU and government has still not come into terms with each other, and there was an initial demand of 1 trillion by ASU during the NSAS protest, and the federal government told us through the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, that they were ready to pay the sum of 30 billion. After the protest was ended or forcefully halted, discussions have been heated up with extra demands by ASU. And last week, after a concluding meeting with the federal government, ASU said that the federal government should close down schools for 2 to 5 years for better improvement.
That's what ASU said?
Yes. So, sir, please, I don't know, what should our reaction be to this? I mean, students have been at home for almost a year now. Who should we even be holding accountable? Because we don't know if ASU are even fighting for us right now or fighting for their pockets.
It's a serious conundrum here. We don't know. But I personally thought ASU should be driven by some certain values. And the values should be, the value that support education. And if you're going to give education, I am an educationist, and I know that there's no way you want to educate that it won't come with some bit of sacrifice, and that sacrifice is what will give one a better kind of strategy on how to. Because I listened to the president of ASU on a TV program when he was saying that if not for ASU, the universities in Nigeria will have broken down. But he was looking at it, as far as I'm concerned, through a very narrow prism, that And because the point he's trying to make is that they are not really fighting for only their welfare. They are fighting for the holistic, kind of positioning, resourcing the schools, putting money there and all this kind of. But, I've said it many times that what ASU is doing, I think, personally speaking, they are selfish. They are not valuing, they are not putting the interests of the students first. That's clear. I mean, now for someone to go to that extent to say they should close down, because there's still a lot of people in Nigeria who can afford to send their wards to a private school where they pay millions. But the fact still remains that if ASU really, really value education, the demand shouldn't be just government put money here, government this should be our allowance. It should be, just like we're talking about the general situation in the country. There is no way, one, education can't be cheap. Number two, government can't fund education. No, it's not possible. Government cannot fund education. And I've said this for years. What ASU should be fighting for is for these universities, they should fight for autonomy.
Yeah, I think that's part of what
they should fight for. They are not strong on that point. They're still looking for salaries. They're still looking for grants. They're looking, they're still talking about TED Fund. And TED Fund is a fraudulent organization, just like any other thing in the country. We've seen lecturers take money from TED Fund, they've traveled out, but they didn't come back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fine, they sign a bond, they go, they don't come back. So it's just another way of just defrauding, public, the public fund, to looting the treasury. But they should fight for autonomy, and then when they have the autonomy, like I said once, you can have a medical degree that costs you 150,000 naira. That's criminal. They should fight for autonomy, and then they now leave, work with students, work with parents, work with nuns and all the pressure the government to give student loans to children, because that will also pressure the government, to say, if I give a loan to a student to go to school, and the student, I want that student to pay me back, I must provide job for that student. So the thing goes round. ASU is, because they put their own welfare just in front, they can't see clearly. There's no way you can go to school, pay university, pay 40,000, pay this peanuts. There's no way. It won't work. Okay. It will not work. Even for as much as I don't like to compare, if you do a pre-degree, for example, in a Canadian university, which, our school is partnering with now, a pre-degree. If you want to do a pre-degree, it's $300, and that's even at rock bottom discount, is $350 per course. $350 for one course. It's just like REMS, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to do a pre-degree, and for those out there who are interested in this, I'm taking the freedom to advertise it. You can call this same number. Mm-hmm. We, Kingdom Citizen College partners with Trinity Western University in Canada to actually, organize first degree, and then first year. The second year happens there. But I'm not capitalizing on what's happening in ASU. It pains me because I went to a public university. But the correct state of our universities, ASU should fight the correct battle. I think they are fighting the wrong battle.
Okay, sir. First, I want to know, right? Is it possible if you're saying our fees are too cheap? Yeah. Now we're talking of people who can't afford.
That's what I'm saying. You see, when you go abroad, where education is really education, number one, you discover that not if the society is functioning well, not everybody needs to go to university.
Okay.
Yeah. Not everybody needs to go to university. For example, someone is behind this camera who wants to study film editing and everything. You don't need a degree. Go to a vocational school, right? You don't need a degree. You don't need a certificate. You need skill. Most of the courses we read in our universities are just for people to design a CV. Okay. If you now need to go to university, then you must be ready to pay.
Okay.
because it's called, tertiary education. But not every, you see, when you, for example, in the United States, once you have high school diploma, over 50%, they are not planning to go to college. And you know that there's even a difference between university and college. So the way we have so made our education, number one, so theoretical. Look at polytechnics are dead. They're dead. So people don't need to go to university. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, right? Yeah. But if we have an educational environment that is broad, why should I give my car to a mechanic to fix, and the guy doesn't have any kind of, no theory, nothing. Nobody can. I mean, you go to a mechanic. Now the guy is an illiterate, but he's literate when it comes to, fixing the car. But there's a way we can boost that. Organize education around that, not this, this rewire. They destroyed those cars. Only very few now. That's why you have mechanical engineers, some PhD. They take their cars to one Suraju that doesn't know how to read. Our educational infrastructure, the way we say in Nigeria, is faulty, and this our university ASU kind of thing will keep happening until we restructure the whole thing. That's the point. So university is not compulsory. It's not compulsory. People go there, they cheat in exams, they get, why should there be exam malpractice? It's because of the wrong value we've placed on education. Because education is different from schooling. Now people need to go to school to just get a paper. Where is skill? These are the issues.
So it's obvious right now that we need to restructure even the educational system, and
absolutely.
And you see from looking at what Joanne just talked about ASU saying that the government needs to restructure. It's as if we're pushing blames now. Who is now responsible? Is it something that we all need to do together?
Everybody's responsible. Parents are responsible, right? The professionals there are responsible. Student body, you see, when I was in the University of Lagos, our student body, the fear of NANS or student union in the school is the beginning of wisdom, because they can shut down the country. But you see, over the years, that's how much they've weakened the university system, right? They've weakened it. And when I say they, in fact, we have weakened it. Parents, because parents buy admission for their words. Some parents out there are listening to me, it is true. They buy admission. They pay lecturers for grades. So we are all responsible. So if someone is a professor and is still trying to fight for welfare, we have a serious problem. If a professor is still fighting, for school to be resourced, right? To have put, all this tech fund, that we still even need to send professors, our university lecturers abroad for further study. Other African nations should send theirs here. So it's a serious societal challenge that everybody needs to embrace, because if I have a school, I'm going to employ somebody who read education in these universities, right? Taught by a lecturer, who is not happy, graduated from a university that he wasn't in school for months, and then he's going to teach other children coming. Everybody becomes substandard. So it's our problem. If our university system is like this, like that, the only thing I agree with the ASU guy then on that TV program was, if we continue like this, universities, federal universities, publicly owned universities will just become like public owned high schools, because they fizzled out. It's now all private. And then you have all kind of private in 1 2-bedroom flat somewhere, and then that's what's happening.
Yeah. And there was no deliberate effort to help the secondary school. So now our fear is that's what will happen now to the universities.
It's already happening. I mean, University of Georgia, people sit on the floor to learn.
True.
Yeah. when I saw that picture on social media, I have to fact check it, and I discovered that it was true. So how will I hire someone who sat on the floor in a university? You know, that person might be brilliant, but he can't be effective in the workplace. His mentality is low. The guy is defeated. He's defeated. And I don't want to start telling stories about how things were, when I was in school, because it won't be fair. It will not be fair. But you see, things don't just happen. Like they say in the workplace, if you pay, if you hire, if you pay peanuts, you can only hire monkeys. That's the point.
Okay, so I was going to what we were going to talk about
part
today.
Of the protest. It's all in the same pot.
Because I was going to ask that because 2 to 5 years might be a long time, but don't you think this is a step towards correcting a lot of things? I mean, they might not be championing for the right thing, but if they are putting the government, as to now, if they are putting government under pressure,
of what is at stake, it's not going to be a right step to shut down universities. Students have been home for how long?
For 9 months.
9 months. It's not. It's like you are trying to say let's shut down oxygen so that we can fix things. Right?
Yeah.
It's not allowed. There's no way somebody studying medicine who is going to treat me in the hospital is out of school for 9 months. There's already a gap in the training.
Mm-hmm.
There's already a gap. It's not done. I don't have the fact, but in fact, I'm going to ask a lot of my friends across Africa. Do you have this experience of universities going on strike for months?
Mm-hmm.
From what I can gather, I think this happens only in Nigeria.
Okay, so before we go into our topic for today, let's quickly go on a break. But when we get back, we're going to continue clarifying a lot of issues. Please don't go nowhere.
A better Nigeria, is it a myth or do we keep hoping?
Nigeria is a highly religious country. How come corruption thrives?
Why is adoption not encouraged in Nigeria? Is there a future for the Nigerian youth?
Being rich and famous, is that the only reason for being an artist?
What makes a great nation? Is it the leaders? What about the people?
This is Answers with Dr.Reju.
Welcome back. This is still Answers with Dr.Reju. And like I said, if you have something to say, if you have a contribution, our what we're talking about today is already on our Facebook page, so you can head over to our Facebook page and leave a comment, or you can call or send us a message on 081-4456-9000. Okay, so I'm connecting it to what you said. You said what we're talking about today relates to the whole federal government.
You should be part of ASU.
And ASU.
Part of the protest, yeah.
And I think there's a lot of, there's no much orientation among the youths. And when I first learned that the youths were going to start their own political party, I was really excited. And a week before that, I had gone for this program and they said we need to all be card-carrying members of a political party because it's part of our responsibility and all that. So I was so happy and I was willing to join. Till last week, when you said a lot of things like youth are not ready for leadership yet, like we need to go back to the people in power right now to learn from them and all that. And it's disturbing. And I asked a lot of young people and so many people had different things to say. I will be reading out some of the comments. But now, sir, I would want to know, to you, what is leadership? Because during this protest, I saw a lot of organization to a large extent. I saw youths coming together. They were ready to get this thing working. So don't you think they can actually do that if we give them power? And so what qualities of a good leader are you looking for?
Give them power.
Okay.
Nobody is going to give you power.
When they take the power.
You can't even take it. There's somewhere in the middle, because you say, what is leadership? Leadership is influence, and influence is something you build. Right? It's a long thread that you have to learn. You see, those who are right there, those who are in, there, that's why we say they are in power, because they stole it. People who look at leadership and they see power, they don't understand what leadership is. Leadership is that ability to be able to influence people And you don't influence them by force, you influence them because they trust you. You've earned a trust. And the way you also influence, is that you see yourself as someone who is serving them. Right? Their interest is primary. And most of the time, people don't know what they need. They only know what they want. So if you're a leader and all you know is power, all you know is authority, all you know, and you don't know service, you can only take advantage of people. So the point here is that the reason I said the whole idea about young people's party and not going to will not work is because I'm a strategic thinker. Many times when you want to do anything, you have to appraise the opportunities that you have, and also put that side by side the challenges that you have. My take here is that the young people, they can see the opportunities, right? They can't see the challenges. And the challenges will just suck the life out of the opportunities. Because the challenges that you can't see because it's in your blind side. This is my point. The establishment, the current crop of leaders that we have, they are generational. The value has been there for long. Look at the ease with which they crushed the protest. It was so easy, right? Very easy. And they took it further, right? To now start issuing threats, right? Yeah. I said something on this program before, maybe during the protest or something like that. I said the government, because of their values, right, they would destroy their own government to stop the protest. And that's what they did. It's clear. I can say it on air. It was not the protesters that burned down the country. Right? Yeah. It might not be the government that burned down the country, but the government allowed the burning down so that the protest can end. It's clear. It's an old script. It's an old script. So this thing, those are the challenges that you are not born with those things, you learn it. There was a time on this program, I don't know whether it was this year or last year, maybe 2 years ago, that we spoke for a long time about mentoring. You see, John can't mentor Lois. Lois can't, because you are in the same kind of generation. Right? And if you have not been mentored, you can't mentor others. What we are seeing right now is a practice, is a leadership value system that's been there for long, and they've learned it. And is working, working not positively. You are talking about voters card. The system that is giving you the voters card, right, is already rigged. If you have confidence in voters card, then you don't understand. You can't see the challenge, right? You can't see the challenge. So this is for you to go and establish a parallel system. I said I don't bet, I don't gamble, but I can bet you can win. And then secondly, someone wants to start the journey of leadership. You want to give a shot at presidency. It won't work. So we need the people we call youth, they need to, first of all, because the value system that they have, they don't appreciate small. They don't. These are things that you have to learn. It's an indictment if we say that my generation, I'm 57, if I say my children can't lead. Right? My children can lead because of the way I've raised them. Right? But my children, can they lead politically? Maybe no, because I've not raised them politically. Right? My kids are economists. They can lead economically. They can pioneer business. Right? Because of the way they've been trained. How many of these young people have been nurtured politically? Do you know the power of negotiation? Do you know give and take? And this is my conviction. The people that we call the youth today and everything, what is the training that they've had? It is what is the reaction to the corrupt government that we currently have. If they get there, they don't have another script. This is the same thing that's going to happen. They will steal money, right? They might not steal money the way it is being done right now, but it's the same value system. The culture of waste will still be there. Power will still be there. They don't know any other way of running the police. How many of this generation thought the way we were, where my dream was to be a policeman? Nobody wants to join the police now, and you want the police to be good. We've seen how young people, we've seen in this country young people who were first of all protesters, got into government and disappeared. The values, that's why I wrote in that my article, what we are fighting is in us. What we are doing right now is change, not transformation. His power must change hands. If the power change hand from right to left, it's still the same person. It's still the same person. Just like we spoke about ASU. It's a good fight, but it's not properly structured. The whole NSAS and all those kind of things, it means a lot of things. And that's why if I do any post on Facebook or social media today, I don't use the hashtag NSAS. And it's deliberate. Because NSAS means different things to different people.
That's right. We are the leaders of tomorrow. That's what
No, don't say that again. I'm going to stop you, Lois. Lois, you are over 20. You can't be leader of tomorrow. You are a leader of today. Because when we see leadership, we see leadership in a public space. Leadership begins with self-leadership. You can't be, because, and somebody will come and deceive you. I'm sorry that, to cut in, because narratives are what makes us. We are leader of tomorrow. And I told you my story. 1979, I was a teenager. They told me I'm leader of tomorrow. Obasanjo was president. 20 years after, right? Obasanjo came back as president. Where is this tomorrow?
I was saying that was what you were told.
And that's why I want to say that, when they say join politics, tell them you are already in politics. Because the definition of politics they are telling you is go and seek political office. That's not the only way to fix this country. There's a group of intellectuals that came, this week. I'm sorry. You heard about it, fixed politics. Many of them are my friends. Maybe you guys heard about it. Fixed politics. Many of them are my friends, but I'm sorry. The lines there is still personal agenda. I'm sorry, but that's my take. So when they say come and join politics, define politics for them. We are clarifying life issues here, right?
Yeah.
That you are already in politics. Politics is not limited to elections and seeking public office. Politics is arrangement of human life. If you are in business, you are in politics. Right? You should be interested, you should participate in politics. It's a way of, going to your blind side when they define politics by that narrow that you have to get voters card, get all those. When the voters, I've told you I don't have confidence in the voters card because the system is flawed. If I have to go and queue up for my voters card, my children got voters card, right? By the time they got to the polling station, was another name that was there. The system is rigged. So if you're going to go into that election kind of thing, I'm sorry because, there are a lot of things we echo that has shaped us. And that's why I jumped in, right? That leader of tomorrow. Where is tomorrow? You are leader right now. An SS1 student is a leader. A GS1 student is a leader. Right? It's a leader. Leadership starts from there. Leader of tomorrow, they are talking about you're going to be a prime minister, you're going to be a governor. That's you see, if we're all okay, the governor doesn't have much to do.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I was trying to say that is what they keep saying, but for me, I believe that our future is now. So how can we be adequately prepared for this point where we are right now? Last year during the 2019 elections, the president, he signed the Not Too Young to Run bill, and from what I read, I discovered that we have less than 1% of young people occupying particular offices in government. And you said you don't have to be president and all, but I believe that there are sub offices that young people can be responsible for. I'm wondering, looking at all these things that is going on, do we stand any chance?
It's still that culture of entitlement. Life will never give you what you deserve. It will give you what you demand. What I hear you say is that even if I don't write the exam, give me my grade. I'm a youth. Offices should be, it's like all the campaigns I see around. If you have a government of 10 people, 5 of them must be women. Come on. These things they are deliberate strategies to divert people from the real issues. That's the truth. I'm a leadership consultant and I learn under the best. Marx Dupree said, the primary responsibility of leader is to define reality. A lot of people don't know reality. You get so energized when you hear, feminine, whatever, affirmative action. You get so energized. It's a diversionary tactic. You go fight for feminine. That females should have their special grades in WAEC. Then I know you have a course. Right? That if for you to be a medical doctor, if you need 46 credit hours, female should be 30. Then I know you have a point. Life won't give you what you feel you deserve. Right? It's as simple as that. Also, youth won't be given anything. Develop yourself where you become needed, necessary. Don't wait for things. Go to it. Develop yourself. Position yourself. Hone your skill. If you are the only one with a wristwatch in this studio, right, you become our leader. Because we need to know the time. Right? You become our leader. You see, that's the way it works. You need to learn. We were taught in my own generation to be self-made. Right? Go out there and grab it. You won't be given. There's so much of mental weakness. Don't wait for someone to appoint you. You see, this is what the reality I always paint for people. The most fraudulent person is looking for the most honest person to employ. Because fraudsters don't want to be defrauded. Yeah.
That's true.
So, you see, my advice, my challenge to the youth is that even the imperfections in our society has its opportunities. It has its opportunities. Be go-getters. Don't just become tools in the hands of anybody. Because that's what everybody are. And then there's a large percentage there who doesn't even know what's going on. They just hear the sound, here they follow. They hear the sound, here they follow. Yeah. There's something that will never be wrong in life. When you even the ones that people use is because they've offered themselves as useful. Hone the skill. Where you headed? Because society is designed to defeat the weak. Yeah. Imagine if over the years, in the last 10, 15 years, there's a whole plan that some young people from their age 16, 17, they said there's a whole movement that we need to infiltrate the police force. Right? The worst of society goes to the police. Those who can't fit in civil service, can't fit in a bank, can't fit anywhere. They go to the police. And I keep saying that we don't have a special problem with the police. There's nowhere in the world where the police is not corrupt. So it's not a special problem. Ours is just the way we've managed it. So young people just need to look inwards first. We need to look inwards first. Learn, hone your skill. Leadership is not something you are given. You need to be positioned and people see that this person is useful. This person can serve. This person can be used. Yeah. If you don't engage this system, if you want to fight it from outside, you will lose. Mark my word. My purpose is not to make people happy.
Yeah.
It's to make people think and reflect. I'm not out to make anybody happy because I don't see anybody getting anywhere with happiness. Happiness is of no use.
Really?
Happiness is not based on anything that's concrete. It's just a feeling. I don't want to make you happy. I want you to see reality. Right? If you fight from outside, the establishment, they have their fingers everywhere. Your best friend that you think you are working together will sell out before you know it.
Okay. So that's the aim of Answers with Dr. Reju. We clarify issues, very critical and tough issues. Okay, guys, we need to go on another break. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thinking of where to go to? Be on board with Patrice Radio.
So before we went on that break, we're looking at youth and leadership and youth deciding to take over government and all that. So I want to ask, right? So you're saying something about them going to learn under these people, but okay, in Nigeria we have two major parties. So mostly you hear people saying there are two thieves on the cross, so you decide which one is less evil and vote for the person. Now, first of all, don't we need to clear out these people and start another one? That is why we are starting a platform. But don't you think learning under them now would be them
learning under what cost? Like what
passing
are we
their values?
It's still about you not understanding the challenge. You see, let me say this for the benefit of those who will have it, right? Who will be humble enough to listen. The way to change this system, right? And I'm even sounding as if I'm not strategic putting this out, because this is one thing I would teach in a closed seminar.
Okay.
The way to change this system, right, is to identify roles that are seemingly or obviously non-threatening.
Okay.
Right? Let me give an obvious example. Look at the young man. I met him. He contested for, the governorship thing here in Plateau State. You can't win. You can't. You cannot. Governorship elections are not places you go and talk grammar or go and say policy. I met him. He was talking to me about he met some guys in Boeing. They are going to Plateau is going to set up an airline, and it's not. If you go and contest for the local government chairman, a councillor, value small, try your hands there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try your hands there. That's non-threatening. But there are some positions, the way Nigerian policy, they have already, earmarked it. Something happened in Lagos yesterday. The governor is proposing, a bill to the House to cancel, pension for former governors and deputy governors, right? To cancel it. Now, Tinubu came out to hail him, that this is a very good thing. This is the catch. It was Tinubu that pioneered that thing. That once you are a governor in Lagos, and then the other states copied it, that once you are a governor and when you leave office, you will have 3 cars every year.
Oh, wow.
You will have a house in Abuja and one in Lagos. Right? And now, some of them leave governor they become citizens. They collect the pension, they still collect allowance. And this is not small money. Now, Sanwo-Olu came out to say they want to reverse it. The first person to hail him is the person that
Pioneered it.
And Nigerians will be rejoicing. There is something else behind it. Right?
Yes, sir.
Sanwo-Olu is, you see, a lot of young people don't understand the dynamics of politicking. You know, so Sanwo-Olu is having serious credibility challenges because of the protest. He needs something to buy back some
People over.
Buy people over. Because the reality of that, the government know the thing that hurt the people. So they know when to give it and when to take it. Right? So everybody will now shout, the man is good. Tinubu is the first one to... This is something he started. He was the one that made the law, and then the other governors in the country. You know? I'm sure Jang is on, is on pension and he's in the Senate.
Well, maybe Tinubu had a change of mind.
You see, that's what they know you will naturally think. You see, I tell people in Nigeria, I tell my students who are Americans, who are Asians, it's common. If they are human, which I believe they are, never trust a politician. At least for now. Never trust a politician. Yeah. Don't trust a politician. Politicians don't work for the people, they work for votes. So we are looking for a new breed of politicians who will work for the people using votes. Are these people, for you to say you want to remove, you want to clear, that's not how life is. Right? You can't stop breathing and then you now want to start a new life. It's a continuum. Right? If change comes by infiltration. How do you sweeten a pot of soup? Right? You don't keep looking at the salt in its, in its container. You must touch it. Do you have enough strength, enough conviction, right? Enough conviction to say, I want to even know how it's not done. I was talking to a group of, people who are talking about, Halloween, and they said, if you are a Christian, you shouldn't do Halloween. And I said, why? And they said, Halloween is of the devil. I said, but if you're a Christian, you should at least learn about the devil. You need some information about the devil. If Halloween will give you opportunity to know who the devil is, I think you should. But the issue now is, if I touch the devil, will I become evil? Or will I still retain my own devilish nature? That's the problem. If I say, go learn from this present crop of politicians, if you go there, the test of character is, will you get swept away? It won't happen. You can't set up a parallel system. The candidate or the person is going to support, Buhari is the one appointing the INEC chairman. Right? Right?
Yes.
Do you think INEC is independent? The I is just maybe it's not. The INEC is not independent. If INEC is this still popular in our politics, we are still playing games. And this is Africa. Look at what happened in Cote d'Ivoire. Look at what happened in Tanzania. These are guys that have been in power for ages. So if you think you just have a protest and everything and then you just wipe them, except you want to come out with guns and kill people, which won't be right, you won't even succeed. Right? So these are the realities you need to appreciate. That's why I did that post. If everybody who supported that protest, right, you really believe in it, the day those guys are appearing in court, everybody should be there. Right? Because for the purpose of history, because I had to talk to a lot of people during this time, many of you don't know what ABN is, Association of Better Nigeria. That was the movement that scuttled June 12. One Arthur Nzeribe formed that organization and went to court to contest June 12 election. There was another one, youth earnestly asked for Abacha. These are scripts that has been there. You see, maybe, I know our time is really fast, but there's something you should see right now. Maybe that will make you happy or give you some sort of encouragement. I've seen something that this government is afraid of, right? In social media. They used to fight tooth and nail, right? Kung fu, wrestling, everything. Social media must not be touched. They are afraid of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I said that protest will have 2 days before the shooting will have left the street and go online. It's about strategy. There's no way they can hijack protest online.
No.
There's no way they can begin to loot online. These are the realities. So it's a learning curve, but I say something. Every Nigerian must, it's not just youths, every Nigerian must resist this government, because for those who don't know the history, Buhari was the one who promulgated Decree 4, right? That actually muted, the media, and that's where we are. That's where we are. They imposed a fine on Arise channels and another station, 3 million naira, because of the role they played in the protest, for just covering the protest. So these are the kind of things that we have to learn. There is a script being played out. Youths, what's your own script? And who wrote it?
Oh, okay, so let me quickly read some of the comments we have. This one says, I personally believe that the person that will eventually head or that will emerge as the chairman or even the candidate will end up misbehaving just like our current leaders. Maybe not as bad. Reason why I said so is because our country has made it like the new normal to go to power and steal and act all foolish and messed up.
That's what I was saying.
And if you ask, they will be like, there's a need for them to get what they can now because they won't be in power forever.
Is that not the same mentality that we're
fighting?
Trying to fight? That's it. And this is a young person that's writing that, I'm sure.
Very young person. Yeah. Another person is saying, if our parents could learn in leadership, why can't we? For me, Youth Democratic Party is a yes. So the person is actually saying, if our parents could go in there without going through this system.
This is the way we listen. I'm not saying don't form Youth Democratic Party, but I'm saying you can't win. You can't win an election. You can't win presidency. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to form Youth Democratic Party, right? Learn this process that I'm saying, right? Look at somebody like Chris Okotie will start a political party. He wants to go for presidency. He doesn't even have an office outside of Lagos, and he wants to win presidency. How many people in Sokoto knows Chris Okotie? Fela Droto, he said he wants to be president. Dele Momodu said he wants to be president. Do you know how big this country is? The youth movement will only make sense, will gain traction if this country is restructured. That's the point. When governance is brought close to people and we know who is ruling us. We don't know these people. We don't know them. So if there can even be, because let me tell you, challenge, opportunity. Let me tell you what's likely to happen when you form the Youth Democratic Party. These experienced politicians will scatter it. From the youth themselves, right?
Yeah.
They will get and send them back into the fold and destroy it from within. It's an old script. I'm not saying anything new. I'm just trying to let you know what you are up against so that you know how to position yourself. It's not strategic to form a parallel system, because you will need to register the party. What if the government said they won't register it? What if they said they won't register it?
All hope will be lost again. Most likely.
So don't do anything that will put you at their mercy. Non-threatening. How I wish I'm not saying this on air, and that I gather a group of youth in the room, I'm telling them. What's that? Because I see people are not listening. Every young man wants to go into politics now. He wants to be president. They're not even thinking of governor. They don't want to be president. How many youths know more than 3-4 states in Nigeria?
States and capital.
How many? The main nucleus of this protest is in the southwest. Even in the southwest, it's Lagos. It's Lagos. That's the point. So we are just doing this now. And you know why? Why is that? Where is the power? So social media. So don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let anybody. Somebody is comparing us to China and all those kind of things. China is not a democracy. And I like it. Because Asians are not democratic. Africans are not democratic. So we're just acting a play. We're just hypocritical. We're just a bunch of hypocrites practicing democracy.
Okay. Okay, guys, we don't have time to go through all the comments or to carefully look at some of the questions we have. So I think next week, as much as possible, we'll try to make time so that Dr. Reju can answer everything. Thank you so much, sir, for today. We've learned so much. Thank you, Skiffy, for doing this with me. And I want us to take a lot of things away from today, that we have to be strategic, and starting small is part of that strategy. So instead of us to be aiming, I know it's good to aim big and aim high.
It's not good.
Okay, we'll argue this another time. Okay, and again, for us to change the system, we have to be part of the system. So thank you, everybody, for listening. This is still Answers with Dr. Reju. Will be coming your way next week. But don't forget, you can always keep the conversation going on our Facebook page, or you can send us a message or call us on 081-465-4456-9000. Okay, thank you so much. See you next week. Bye.
A better Nigeria, is it a myth, or do we keep hoping?
Nigeria is a highly religious country. How come corruption thrives?
Why is adoption not encouraged in Nigeria? Is there a future for the Nigerian youth?
Being rich and famous, is that the only reason for being an artist?
What makes a great nation? Is it the leaders? What about the people?
This is Answers with Dr. Reju.